It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come and join us for another ride in the team bus. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. And we might just sprinkle in some other shiny pop cultural objects along the way. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez!
Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. I'm Justin and this is my brother Matt. And today on the bus, it's our 2025 Videography show, in which we review our favorite camera shots of the year from the 2025 pro cycling season. We're also going to discuss the increasing use of drone videography in professional sports. And as always, we'll finish out with an amazing drone shot from just above and to the left of the Broom Wagon. Allez! Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. If you've watched our show for any amount of time, you'll know that we absolutely love the use of photography in racing. It's one of the kind of through lines that runs in our passion for cycling is the visual nature of the camera work. Obviously, you get a lot of aerial shots and a lot of scenes of iconic countrysides and, beautiful mountains and architecture. And there's so many different things that we will always point out in any given race. So today we're going to talk about photography and videography in cycling and in sports in general.
I wanted to mention, like, one of my sort of fondest memories of you getting into following cycling back in your early days. I just remember at some point, we were talking about a bike race, or maybe it was when we were in Hilton Head watching, then in the very first, times we watched bike races together when Cavendish was, making his run there at that Tour de France. Back when our dad was still alive. Anyways, I remember you telling me that you were a big fan of the show. I think it's called like America from Above or something like that. And it was like,
Aerial America.
Yeah, Aerial America or whatever.
Yeah. Big time.
And you mentioned how you would love that show and watch it for hours, and it's it's great background. It's like the background show, in a lot of ways. You can just kind of put it on while you're doing something else, and it's just going to be just cool stuff to look at. So, and I was kind of tickled that, like, pro cycling sort of scratches that itch for you. You can actually multitasking.
Yeah, for real. Well, and it's as somebody that does video editing, it is remarkable to me to see some of the shots, because for the casual fan or for the casual person that's not necessarily that's really there for the racing more than anything, it really can just become background when you're watching racing. But there's something super intriguing to me when I see a really complicated aerial shot in a race where I'm just going like, oh man, whoever saw this and was like, this has to be in the package at some point. When we get to this point, we want the camera to be here so that we get this angle and this shot and this. So, we get the aqueduct and the racers going over it and the mountains in the background. There's a lot that goes into that and the planning of it. And it is its own art form. You know what I mean?
It's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, I love the fact that this absolutely crucial component of the fan experience, which is the videography, has got such artistry applied to it. You know what I mean? Like in other sports, there's a degree of artistry, and of course, if you want to talk about, say, the biggest American sport, pro football, they've gone leaps and bounds in the past 10 years, as has cycling, with with that camera that sort of hovers above the field and can be moved to any spot. I mean, we've really gotten some spectacular shots in pro football, but it's a enclosed
It's a
arena.
controlled
Yeah,
environment.
yeah, it's a controlled environment, and much like the fact that we just love the fact that cycling is done out in the world, that cycling is the field of play is the entire world. It's every road in the world. You know what I mean? Is your field of play. Um, it's cool that the videographers that work in this sport also have this amazing huge palette that the entire world is their palette from which to work. And every there's just so many cool parallels. I mean, in the same sense that every bike race is a challenge for a team and for a rider as to how we're going to approach this and what's the key, and how do we do this. The same thing holds true for the videographers. They're not simply saying we're just going to fly the helicopter above the peloton. No, we're going to go out there, we're going to recon the route, just like the teams and riders are going to recount the route, except we're looking for the best camera shots. We're looking for the way that we can really put this amazing sport on display in the best possible way. And it's great because, 5 hours of watching guys riding bikes is maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but having this artistry injected into it just makes it so cool.
Well, and it would be very interesting to me to learn I would love a behind the scenes and how like things like that get decided, because in any given stage, obviously stages change. It's not always the same. It's not like, the Tour de France literally goes to every single same place every year, so they know exactly what it is. It's an ever evolving situation depending on where the ASO, decides to take the race in a given year. So, which means that you're very likely to get different things at different times and different years and things that you've never seen before. But, I find it so utterly interesting, especially in those down moments. It seems like the down moments at the end of a race, when you're waiting for the podiums, when you're waiting for the interviews, and there is no more racing going on, you get some of the absolute, like, best aerial shots, you know what I mean? And just superb landscapes and
Yeah.
shots of architecture and
Like amazing. I mean, one of my absolute favorites from this year. I spoke about it in our end of year show when I mentioned a few camera shots. It was exactly that thing when they finished in Barcelona uh, for I can't even remember what race it was, but you had that incredible shot of the Sagrada Familia Cathedral where you just got to see absolutely every square inch of that cathedral in that shot, and it was just so cool.
well, and then you have like at the UAE tour, they had that amazing start, in that building that was covered in mirrors. And
Hmm.
one shot that always comes to mind when I think about this topic is, and it was a couple years ago, there was like
The Vuelta
the one where with the camera went through the
with the red
thing.
with the red box.
Yeah. Oh
It's got to be one of
God.
the like greatest shots of all time.
So what we're talking about is, it was a shot that was like a wide angle shot, or it was a tight shot. Sorry, it was a tight shot. And as they pulled back from the shot, you realize that they pulled back through a piece of kind of art or architecture to the
It
top
was
of
like
this
it was
hill.
like a sculpture.
Yeah,
It was
like
like
sculpture at the top of the hill. There was like a red box, and as they pulled the camera out, it pulled right through the red box, and now the red box is in the foreground, and you realize that they had zoomed in through the box to give you the shot, and as they pulled back, you got to see the whole thing and the red box, and it was
Well,
just
then they also circled around it.
yes.
And there was so this particular sculpture. I mean, it was like basically a red rectangle that was, I assume, fabricated out of metal,
Hmm.
and it was like sitting on a hilltop. It was probably, my guess would be this thing was probably 20 feet tall and 12 feet wide, and that's all it was. It was just a red rectangle sitting on a hilltop. And there was a town. It was like out in the country, and there was like on the countryside, and there was a city. I believe it was like the finishing town for that particular stage of the Vuelta, and of course, like so many of those cities, it had like some magnificent church or castle in it, and there was a shot where the helicopter was flying around the outs like around this sculpture, and they had it framed in such a way that you could see the castle off to the side of the rectangle, and then as the helicopter continued to move, the angle is changing, and you can see before it even happened, you knew it was going to happen. You're like, oh, they're going to put that
Yeah,
castle
they're gonna frame
in
it.
the middle of that frame, and sure enough, that thing swung around, and they just sat there, and then they just stopped and just held that, and it's just like there's just such joy in it. You know what I mean? The artistry, I cannot get enough of that, and I love the fact that it is a component of the sport that has nothing to do with the outcome of the race at all. It's purely for the enjoyment of people who are into aesthetics, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, there was also at one point this year there was like a castle, and there were guys like doing cosplay on top of the castle. Do you remember that? Yeah,
Sure.
and like, but that's also part and parcel of it, because it's in the Tour de France does such a great job of showing the side, the roadside art, and making that part of the experience, which, really it is. And a lot of that is the art is dependent upon the aerial photography. So, they make these giant things that are on a flat field that if you're standing at ground level, it's going to probably look pretty odd. But once you're in the air,
It's like if you're standing 2 feet in front of a pointillist painting, it means nothing. It's only when you get
exactly.
back from it that you can, yeah.
And then there's also, another aspect of it that, you can't take away from is your motorbikes. All right. Your motorbikes are doing a lot of work, and we really typically only think of the, the racing shots, but there are times when they get really cool footage as well. Things that are happening on the side of the road, riders, regular citizens riding alongside of the Peloton.
And let's not forget also some of the absolute coolest stuff that we ever get to see is when mountaintops are thronged with people, and those camera bikes really give you like an onboard idea of what it must be like for these riders to be just riding through a sea of humanity, everybody just like screaming at the top of their lungs. And I mean, that's like some of the coolest stuff you can see. I mean, I feel like with those kinds of moments, every time they get to a part of a race like that, I'm always, the thought in the back of my head is like, just cherish this. Like, this is so special that like we still have this in our sport where the fans are so close to the riders. I mean, some would say dangerously close, and it's not a good thing, but I sure do love it.
Well, and I think that it's really another really kind of neat part of that fan experience is that you get those angles. And now with the the advent of technology and the proliferation of new technology such as drones, such as onboard cameras, you're getting a whole new perspective of racing that you weren't really accustomed to a few years ago. Because even if you go back the 5, 6 years that I've been, really into cycling, maybe 5 years really, it has gotten so different to where, you'll get some races with these onboard shots where, they have a bike or a camera essentially mounted under the back seat of a bike. And now you have a feed that's showing you the race in real time in a perspective that you can't really get any other way. And it does give you a better sense of how chaotic that situation is. Because you're like, oh my God, these guys are literally inches from each other. And your perspective is now, so close and so inside of it that you have a deeper appreciation for the danger and the the science behind it, and how it is literally this like breathing apparatus that's moving many kilometers per hour, all together as one force. And it's just really neat as the technology gets better and better that we get all of this kind of different look and new look and different feel to this thing that has kind of been the same for a really long time.
Yeah, yeah, and there's also, not in pro cycling per se, but in the cycling world, especially other kinds of cycling, the use of GoPros is also just like gone crazy. So today we're gonna, well, first of all, I have to shout you out because like I basically contributed nothing to the selection of shots for this, which is just fine. Like I love the stuff that you came up with, and it's going to give us more than enough material to discuss. But I shout you out and I salute you, sir, for doing the amount of legwork that you did. So we're going to be kind of focusing on drone photography this year because it's something that has really fascinated us in the past couple of years, and watched its sort of slow creep into the pro cycling world. It's kind of interesting how the drones are utilized. I think in the biggest races where we've seen it, like it's essentially what they do is they'll have some drone operator stationed at a certain spot, and he'll basically do the same shot, like especially in TTs, where there'll be this one section of the TT where you get a really cool drone shot of the rider. I can't remember which Grand Tour it was, but there was a TT, and they sort of like were riding along this, like the side of this hill that had kind of a drop off on the left, and it was overlooking a big valley, and the drone would come swooping in as the rider like hit that thing, and it would like follow them along as they went along the side of this hill, and then it would just sort of peel off, and then it would just go back and reset for the next rider. So it's sort of the same as having a camera mounted on in a certain position. The camera that sits there on the corner at the top of the Murda whatever in the Tour of Flanders, always catches the riders coming directly up at you and then makes a right turn. You see him make the left and go down. It's the same kind of thing, except this happens to be a camera that's mounted on a mini helicopter and
being operated in real time. Yeah.
Right. So, but it just really gives an opportunity to see a really cool angle on a bike race that we haven't really gotten for a long time. But now it's like, I mean, personally, I would be more than happy if there came a time when every race just had a drone that followed it alongside the helicopters. You know what I mean? There was a car back there in the entourage or whatever that, with a drone operator in there that's just following along and doing the drone, and so the whole race would be shot through with drone shots. That'd be fantastic.
Well, and the drone can do something that the helicopter can't. So the helicopter obviously has limitations. All right, it also has abilities that the drone doesn't have. But the drone's, to me, key ability is its closeness. It can get closer to the actual action without the need of zoom, and enhancement, better than a helicopter, because it's not creating, the force. It's much smaller. There's a million reasons, why it can be much more artistic. And again, this is not to detract from the helicopter, because I do believe that some of the stuff they do is just absolute art, but it is a different form of the same medium that allows for a very unique view and angle of the racing. And you're absolutely right. I am all for it. You can add as much drone photography into the mix as you want. I'm there for it 100%.
Mm-hmm. So with that, why don't we start getting into
some of these clips,
and we're gonna attempt a first for our YouTube viewers, first for the Team Bus podcast, which is we are going to be screen sharing and watching a couple of these clips live. Some of them we're gonna bounce through to a certain point in the clip, but yeah, let's kick it off. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go right here, and we're going to share. So hopefully our viewers are seeing that, and we're going to start right here with this first shot by the Colosseum in Rome. What was this from? Do you know if this is from the Giro?
This is the Giro. This is the last final stage of the Giro.
All right, and here we go. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's so great.
Incredible. Drone just hovering above the pointy end of the race, and wow.
And therein lies that same thought that I just had, where you can get so much closer. Like a helicopter could easily get the same shot, but they're not going to get the angle that you're able to get with that drone. All right, that drone gets a much lower, look to it than the helicopter could ever get, and especially with the Colosseum there in the background, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, really great. And that's really the sort of one of the great things about the drone photography is it's able to sort of in the same shot give you that rider's eye view almost, and yet at the same time it can pull out and grab aerial shots and all kinds of stuff. It's versatility, because it's such a small and compact little thing, really gives it a leg up on the helicopter photography. All right, you want to move on to?
So this is Tade when after he went solo at the Tour of Flanders, and this is again one of those where they have the drone in a particular section, and they had gotten a couple of them, but here's the goat, getting his own flyby.
As well, he deserves. Let's take a look.
Oh God, that's so cool. Are
you hearing that or no?
No. It's such a different feel too. Like if from a visceral standpoint, you almost feel like you're riding right behind him.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, this to me is one of the ones that if you say to me, like, why do you like riding a bike? Like, what is it that you enjoy about cycling? Right here, you're looking at it.
Yeah, because look,
this is better than any roller coaster.
It has to bank with him to keep up, mm-hmm. So you get like a really, really cool feel to it. God, it's such a great shot. And then that peel off at the end where you could see all the campers. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah. Yes, this is why you love cycling. This is why this is such a special sport. Because look, we're not even like looking at anything. Like in the background, it is just a countryside. And you could be in just about any country at this point, but there's just something really, really just beautiful about it. The way that it comes through the woods, the way that it banks with him in the turns. It's really, really, really unbelievable.
Yeah. Incredible. All right. Next up, we have this is the leaders at Milan San Remo.
Yes. Yeah. This is the lead. This is I think this is like right by the Poggio.
Was it this year?
Yes, this year.
It says the drone shot on the Poggio was absolutely something. All right,
I'm assuming breathtaking would be my guess.
See it.
Oh God, that's so
wow.
Cool. Oh, and with the sea in the background. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. I don't think this is the leaders though. If this was this year, wait, because
this is the women.
Women's. Yeah, so
yeah.
This is not Milan San Remo, because the women don't race Milan. Oh no, what they do. This is the first year. That's right. It's Il Lombardia that we haven't gotten for the
correct.
women yet. Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, just so spectacular.
Wow.
I could full screen it as well. Beautiful.
It's just and again, it's just a different feel. the way that it can overtake the racers though that way, because like a motorbike could never make this type of shot, and it would never feel this way, because especially in this, I don't even think they allow the motorbikes in the grouping with this.
No, of course not. Not on a dangerous, tricky place like this. And it's also cool because yes, we get plenty of helicopter shots of riders from above, but we don't get them from 5 feet above.
No,
You know what I mean?
and you can even see at the end of the clip, you can see the helicopter, or one of the helicopters, like at the very end. It'll be like in the top left of the video. But there's something about like right now where they're able to like dip into that curve and be right over top of them. Like, that is such a different angle, man. Like, good Lord. It really is. Like, give me more drone footage, please.
Yeah, it's great.
It also gives you a better sense. This is another thing right there. It gives you a better sense of the height and the depth. You can see the helicopter right there at the end. But it gives you a sense. So like, obviously they're on a descent right now. They are all banking into these curves. They're going down. And the drone gives you a better sense of the downhill because of its angle, the way that it sits right above the Peloton. You are getting a much better sense of the gradient. You know what I'm saying? So as it goes down, you feel that drop a little bit more than you would if you were on a motorbike level or in a helicopter watching it strictly from above, like right there. That's so cool. God, it's breathtaking.
All right. Our next one is from Strada Bianchi.
Yeah, so this is just a lot of like shot footage that this guy did. But if we go to, I mean, and you could let it, you could skip around because there's some really beautiful stuff that this guy did.
But this is great. I mean, this is cool just because this really does kind of showcase photography in a lot of different ways. Another thing we haven't mentioned today, the use of slow-mo.
Yes.
In the past, 10 years or so, there's been a lot of, you'll see, like, especially in an ITT, they will have a very high def camera mounted very close to the finish, and as each rider crosses the finish line, it will cut back and you will get like a glorious high def shot in slow-mo of the riders coming through that spot, and you'll see the sweat dripping off of them, you'll see every line in their face, and again, another sort of just beautiful thing that you don't often get to see. Yeah, this is cool. I like
the other thing too is they're incorporating a lot of that slow-mo with the fans, and the Tour de France organizers did a wonderful job this year with it, where they would do these like close-up crowd shot slow-mos. Oh, yeah. God.
And just the look on people's faces, the look of joy. Also, do you remember, I noticed in the beginnings of a couple of like stage races and stuff this year, there was some photography that was kind of, it was kind of like portrait mode style, if you're familiar with the iPhone's portrait mode, where the background gets blurred out and the foreground is in very sharp focus. And they had some really good shots of like the riders in the mix zone, just like hanging around, getting ready to, get on their bikes and start racing.
Yes.
Where you got these just really kind of beautiful shots, and it just makes the overall package so much better. All right, so let's jump.
I mean, I tell you what, I'm just looking at this. They could definitely throw in like some stationary cameras in certain places. Oh, here's a perfect drone shot.
Yeah, perfect.
Now this is not the actual race. This is him in some sort of like, he's in some sort, in the Grand Fondo. Yes, but again, it shows you the things that we could get. You know what I mean? And I would love to see, more of this type. Look at that guy. Look at that guy
I
go.
love this.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at him powering up.
So beautiful. All right. So jump ahead a little bit
Yeah, so
to
we'll jump up to 6
like
minutes.
go to like 5.5 and let it roll. Yeah, like somewhere right in there.
Look at this. God, that would be so cool to be riding. That's the what do they call it? I used to have these memorized. It's where Wow Fan Art made us so happy this year. Nice.
That's it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. That is the. Can you imagine having that shot for yourself?
Yeah, look at that.
That is cool. All right. So right.
I love it. I love it that these guys get to go out and race the course before the riders race it. I mean,
Look at
that's
this one right here.
Wow. Stunning.
God, what a cool shot.
Beautiful.
You know what? Credit to this guy, man. This guy was all over this race.
Yeah. Would have liked to see that guy there that he's toasting with on the left. Take the win. Pretty awesome. That was great with the two birds.
Yeah.
Two birds going in front of him there. Look at that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Bam.
Oh, that's amazing. What a man! God, can't miss racing. Can't wait for the season to start. God,
I know. It's crazy. Even though I'm enjoying leaning into our non-cycling content as well. All right, let's let's move on.
So the next bunch of videos are just like some really cool examples of the possibility of drone photography. So the first video is
hold on.
Sure.
Before you get there, there was a shot I was thinking about when we were talking earlier. That yes, the one that I wanted to mention, and maybe I'll see if I can pull this up during the break. It's one of my absolute all-time favorite shots ever. It was from the Tour de France years ago. It was one of the tours that Chris Froome won. It was when Peter Sagan was in his ascendancy. And there was this incredible stage where I think it was Geraint Thomas as well. I'll definitely look for this on the break. It was a Tour de France stage, and Sagan was riding for it was called Tinkoff back then. I think it might be Red Bull now, like Bora. I could have that wrong, but the team was Tinkoff, and they had these green jerseys. Or no, they didn't have. They had yellow jerseys, but Sagan was in the green jersey for points leader, and he broke away off the pack with like 10 kilometers to go, and he had one teammate with him, and then Chris Froome, inexplicably, I mean, he was already in the race leader's jersey. All he needed to do was stay with the bunch, and he would be good to go. And he just breaks away, and he tries to bridge up to Sagan, and he takes one rider with him, and I believe that rider was Geraint Thomas, and the four of them stayed away to the finish. And what was so great about it was that you got this front-on shot, and they did that thing where they're running it in slow-mo, and then they actually slow it down even more, which is like one of my favorite camera tricks, and I see this in other sports as well. But that is, you talk about a great dramatic effect camera trick. You're watching a shot in slow-mo, and then when you get to the crucial moment of the shot, you slow it down even further. And what you see in this shot, it's from dead on. You see Peter Sagan in the drops, heading to the finish line, and then he sits up and he puts his arms out, and you get this great moment of victory for him. But what you see in the background is Chris Froome digging it out to get third on the stage, which means he gets a time bonus. And the last thing you see is Froome turn his head and look behind him to see how much time he's just gotten on his rivals with this like cheeky little move. It's one of my all-time favorite shots. I will definitely find it.
Go into your show notes. I think I've already clicked it in there for you.
Is that one down below?
It's the one. It'll be the bottom one in the first section. See if this is the right one. It certainly seems like it's the right one.
Yeah, it is the right one.
There you
All
go.
right, yeah, you want to just hit you want to just hit that. Well, you got the whole like last 5 minutes of the race. It looks like. Um, yeah, you want to watch it now, or you want to kick off the next segment with that?
Why don't we kick off the next segment with it, and then we'll jump into photography jump into these other uses of drone photography.
All right, that sounds good. So, you want to give us an outro?
Yeah.
To our
So
break?
we will be right back. We're going to talk some more drone photography across cycling and other sports, as well as this really beautiful moment from the 2016 Tour de France. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Don't miss Beyond the Slipstream, our weekly companion podcast to the Team Bus, our domestique, if you will, dropping every Saturday in your usual podcast feed.
Welcome back. We are in our 2025 videography show. We're going to start off this segment with this clip of Peter Sagan and Chris Froome. And then we're going to get into some more drone photography throughout sports and cycling and other things. So I'm going to let you go ahead and explain this clip.
So this is stage 11 of the 2016 Tour de France.
Yes.
Chris Froome, 4-time winner of the Tour, was in yellow on this stage, and one of his best lieutenants at the time, Geraint Thomas, who we've spoken about at length on this podcast, is right on his wheel. And what you're going to see as this clip opens up, if you're looking at the screen, you can see, I think his name is Mikel Bodnar, who is Peter Sagan's teammate. He's in the very front of the shot coming right at you. And then off to the left, you see Sagan making his move. He's wearing the green jersey. And then just behind him, you got Chris Froome in yellow, and you got Geraint Thomas with his unmistakable white Oakley shades. The iconic look.
Cannot miss those glasses.
Right. So, yeah, so I'll let it roll for a little bit here. And it's just kind of cool how you can just see this whole break just forming right here. It's like, boom, Bodnar, then Sagan, then Froome is right there. And he's like, I'm going to go take some seconds. I'm going to make a cheeky little move and see if I can attach myself to these guys. And Geraint is like, okay, didn't realize this was happening. Better get caught up here. And he has to put in some effort to get back on this wheel right here. But ultimately, he gets in with them, and they are riding as a group. And look at that; they've already got like 12 seconds of separation on them, or something like that. Did you see it? It looked like Nairo Quintana was like his biggest rival. But yeah, look at that! Almost immediately, they. Oh, and I thought it was 5Ks. No, it was like 10Ks to go. I was correct. So, anyways. We're going to get to the shot here. I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead to where I noted that this shot here. We'll watch the finish, but then we'll watch the great shot at the end. So here's the finish. Geraint had peeled off. Chris Froome tries to make a move, but there's no chance that he's beating Peter Sagan.
Not in 2016, baby.
But Froome gets second, and thereby gets not only bonus seconds, but he also gets like a time split. Looked like 7 seconds on the time split. So he probably picked up 14 seconds or something like that on that one. No, 6 seconds. Yeah, 15 seconds. Pretty cheeky. All right, so here's the shot, though. This is one of my all-time favorite shots in all of pro cycling. Look at the look on Sagan's face, the pose that he gives, and then at the very end, Chris Froome with the look back. Here we go. And you'll notice it does the double slow-mo thing. See that, where it slowed down even further?
Yeah.
And Froome is looking back as Sagan's like, yeah, he's in the green jersey, but he's got the rainbow bands at the bottom of his Tinkoff team thing.
That's awesome.
You see Bodnar in the back with his arm up, like everything about it. It's just like so perfect. Like that's just absolutely iconic. Take it back. Yeah. Like look at that right there. Bodnar's arm up, Froome looking back, and Sagan with that smile on his face.
That smirk.
With a smirk. Exactly. So clutch. So clutch. I immediately clocked that too. I remember watching that stage live and seeing that shot and just being like, wow, totally awesome. All right, so you want to get into some branching outside of the world of cycling for some more?
Yeah. So the first one is this really cool video where these guys take the world's fastest drone and try to follow Max Verstappen, all right, the F1 racer. So this one, yeah, honestly, you can kind of go towards the end of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's where it gets really good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the rest of the video is them sort of like testing out the drone, which
Yes,
is kind of cool. It's an interesting design of a drone here. I'll see if I can pull up a
there
pull.
it
Yeah,
is right
there's a
there.
there.
Kind of looks like a, you know,
Yeah, it looks like a little rocket ship, and it actually takes off vertically, and then it like levels out so that it can fly
yeah,
real
yeah. So the
fast.
camera is the circle. If you are watching us on YouTube, the camera is the little circle at the top of the phallic, the rocket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yes, it takes off in that position, but then it tilts into the side, and that camera would then be would be kind of aiming kind of down.
It's like, why does my wife keep borrowing my drone when I'm out of the house? All right. So yeah. So let's go to the really good stuff was wait, what is this one? Oh, this
This is
this
where
must
they
be the
like,
one that they actually used
yeah,
it.
the way they kitted it out with all the Red Bull stuff.
Yeah, nice. And then it was a rainy day that they ran this test,
Oh, and the
which
shots
just
are so
just
cool.
made for some incredible shots here. So let's take it from like right here. Here we go.
So this is what he sees, that like overlay
Yeah.
with all the stuff. My
Here,
God, look at
let's go
this.
back. Let's go back and so that's what the pilot is seeing.
Yes,
Is that right there?
yes.
Wow. Ah, that is just
God,
gorgeous.
look at that.
And with the water spray coming off the car.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And yeah,
Oh,
when the car slows down into the corners and the drone can just like zoom right in. Incredible.
yeah. I mean, it's just the possibilities are so endless, and like these guys are obviously like very high level. Like these guys are this is a very key part of whatever they do is this drone photography. I mean, look how fast it's going.
Yeah, it's really amazing like that it can keep up with a Formula One
Well,
car.
and
Ooh.
this goes in hand in hand with something that I tend to say when we do see it in cycling is that like why can't it look this good? And obviously it can, because here is a perfect example where the high definition meets the high definition, and
Hmm. Hmm.
it looks incredible.
Yeah, really stunning. Um,
Wow, what a shot. Good Lord.
Love that. Just and the fact that it's wet and so you got
Yeah, it
that
makes it
spray
so
coming
much
off there.
cooler.
Yeah, really cool.
All right. All right. So, the next one is a drone following Lucinda Brand on I can't remember if this is a cyclocross race or if this is just a mountain bike. I'm pretty sure this is cyclocross,
Yeah,
though.
this is looking like cyclocross to me because they've got the dropper bars on there. That's a cross bike.
Look at
Um,
this. This is it's so cool. And
yeah,
cyclocross is a sport that's really utilizing the drone footage a lot, especially like in the woods where it's harder to follow along. But
hmm.
man, like just
I mean, this could be like GoPro footage, except that the GoPro would not be keeping up with Lucinda Brand on
yeah,
this
yeah,
course
yeah.
right here.
Well, and you can tell that it's a drone too because it gets pretty high up at
Yeah,
times.
yeah, just like right
Yeah,
there.
right
It's
there.
just so perfect.
But
Um,
this guy's good. Like the operator of this drone is really good because he is doing something that you don't see a lot, which is like getting that low level view with the drone.
yeah,
So it
there you can
is,
see the shadow of it too. You see
yeah.
that? See the
Oh
drone
yeah, yeah. You
shadow
can totally see the shadow. Good call.
right there. Well, and what's really cool is like when we were watching, was it mountain biking world championships this year with Pidcock, and they were like in the woods, like in the thick woods, and
Oh yeah,
they had
there's a
drones going on,
there,
and then you'd catch the stationary shot, and you'd see the drone like in the stationary shot, like 3 feet away from these guys,
yes.
just like flying 3 feet away. It's crazy.
There's been some, cyclocross races that have it in there like very, very, very prominently. So it is definitely a key part to their type of broadcasting.
Hmm.
All right,
Well,
then
and it brings up a good point too, which is, as with all things technological, um, the the higher you go in terms of like prestige in these sports, the more reticent they are to embrace change and new things and stuff like that. So like a lot of times like the innovations in TT bikes, they start in the world of triathlons because the restrictions are much looser in that world, and so you can do things with TT bikes in triathlon that you can't get away with in regular road cycling. So that's the innovation space. And I feel like this is the same thing when you're talking about drone photography and stuff. Like the innovation is happening at the mountain biking and cyclocross levels. And then only when it's been proven then does it bleed out into you know into the um into the world of road cycling. All right, what's our
all
next
right. So
one?
the next one is Cade Edwards with a mountain bike drone shot at the Red Bull Hardline. This is like crazy, crazy interesting.
Hold on.
Ooh, no, you skipped one. This is the crazy drone plus bike plus tunnel. Sorry.
Oh, is this the one we're looking for?
I think that's the mic. I think you might have missed one. It's all right. Just go to the crazy drone plus bike plus tunnel, the one you were on right before. This is just an unbelievable shot that I came across where they're going through this like mountainside kind of like half tunnel.
Yeah, these are those crazy tunnels they have like in Italy,
Hmm.
especially on the sides of
But
the. Look
like,
at that.
oh,
Nice.
it's such a shot.
Nice. Wow. I wonder who that is.
I don't know.
Looks like Pidcock.
It does look like Pidcock, but it definitely went into
The Dolomites. Yep. It's in
descending the
Italy.
Dolomites.
Wow.
God, that first shot, the way that it like comes out and like curves back under. Good lord. We need more of that. Can you just imagine? Can you imagine like somebody in a 1 man or 3 man breakaway, and the drone just following them like that? Oh, that'd be amazing.
I love the comments. I'm just like glancing at the comments on this video. It's the first one. Okay, so this needs to be shown to every drone pilot who shoots drift races and events. This is how you track a subject. Sick shot. Somebody says this is possibly the coolest shot on YouTube. Next one, the pilot of the bike, 5 fire emojis. The pilot of the drone, 5 ice cold snowflake emojis. Next one, biker, 1 fire emoji. Drone, 2 fire emojis. So great. So great. No, that's not Pidcock because there's like some long hair coming out the back of that.
No, and then into that. What do they call that?
Super tuck.
The super tuck. Yeah.
But this might have been like this might not have been during a race.
No,
This
no,
could have
no.
been
This is definitely
like
not a race. This is definitely
exhibition.
just to show off the Dolomites, because like you'd see all the mountains in the background. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. I can try to find that the other one you're talking about. Which is the one?
It
You
it
said the
Cade Edwards mountain bike drone shot at Red Bull Hardline.
all right, here we go. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this one's great.
All right. We're gonna have to watch a
Of
commercial here.
course.
All right. Drones are so bizarre looking too. Wow. Wow.
I know, dude. This is just
Okay.
absurd.
I am so glad you got this. And did you see the one that I managed to stick in there?
The Valparaiso one, I did not watch.
Yes.
I
Okay,
thought
good.
let
It'll
that.
be a nice surprise for you. Oh, look, he crashed
Yeah,
it.
yeah, definitely
That's what that
crashed,
was.
wrecked it at one point.
Jaggy FPV.
That's his on helmet cam right there.
Yeah. That's the GoPro.
God, that's sick too. You know, hats off to Red Bull, man. Their marketing department is just disgusting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Talk about greatest brand creations of the past 25 years. All right. Well, that was cool.
Jump to the mountain bike track drone footage. That should be your next one. Yeah.
That's this one right here.
Yeah, that's this one.
This is going to be good too.
This pilot is ridiculous because he's like right with it.
That's another thing that's kind of like we haven't even really touched on is the talent and skill of these drone pilots is just a whole other thing. Like I want there to be, and I'm sure there probably is already. I'll bet you they have like drone. I bet you they have drone competitions out there where like you have to fly the drone through obstacles and stuff like that. That's got to be next on our list of stuff to find. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This course is just so badass.
And they did, but this operator does such a great job
Incredible.
of following along. Oh my lord!
Is it two guys? Does one guy do the camera and the other guy do the flying? Because when you look at these shots, it's like there's camera movement happening too. It's not just the drone. You know what I mean? The drone is being positioned, but the camera is moving in a way as well. I think, unless the whole.
I mean, if it's like, I would assume that it's just one guy, just because like you have that ability in video games to be able to like, you know, change your movement simultaneously. I mean, it would literally be just having multiple controls. So, and these they control these things like with controllers. God,
Yeah.
wild.
Can we just talk about this heel click that he does here?
Good lord!
Go right back.
Dirty.
Go back.
God, look at that. That is crazy.
So nasty.
The flip at the end here is also ridiculous.
Front flip, no less. Front flip. Think how tough that must be. You're flying up this thing, and you got to like lean forward and somehow transfer that momentum to your back wheel and get it turning over the back. I mean, it's just the athleticism is pretty staggering. All right, moving on.
Oh, what a clip. Okay. And then the last one that I put in is Red Bull Action Drone Shots. It's like a best of their stuff. Just this desert scene. I mean, like, the other thing that it gives you is, oh my good lord. It's just like, it's like,
wow.
I know, right? Like, that is so, yeah. God.
Verstappen just like blasting out donuts.
Yeah, in an F1 car, and it's following along. And then let's go again. Because, like, things like that, you could just never, like, a helicopter just can't do this.
Dude,
look how close they get to the mountain.
Insanity. That was absolute insanity. That thing he was just riding down. These dudes have nerves of steel. Oh my God, are you kidding me? What? Did you see that?
Yes. Oh yeah.
He's hitting the tops of the
with the
skis. Unreal. Wow, this is incredible. Good find right here.
Yeah.
Good find. Oh my God, look at that.
With the drift racing? Yes.
That drone was 1 foot away from that car.
It gets so close. It's literally getting hit with the smoke. It's so close that it's like blocking out the camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you definitely need to do yourself a favor and go watch this segment on YouTube, because holy moly.
Yeah, and we will have links to all of these clips in our show notes, so you can watch all this stuff. Because man, this thing really rewards so much
Oh,
good
that's
stuff.
so cool.
What? God, the inventiveness of this, like this is,
Well,
yeah.
dude, that's why I said Red Bull's marketing department is just out of control.
It's not just the marketing though; it's just like their whole approach. Like just wow, what a
Wow.
shot! What a shot! Look at this! Look at this road he's riding on. Wow. All right. Well, we're going to be boring our
Yes.
Spotify and Apple listeners to death with this, so we're going to move on.
Okay. So, two more kind of honorable mention videos that I'm gonna have you pull up. We'll skip the one that's the GCN that explains how they film the Tour de France. That's its own thing. We'll put it in the show notes. It's a really interesting video if you're into cycling.
Do you want to explain what it is?
It's literally just the talk of how just a GCN plus video about how they shoot the, like, in a technical sense. We have, this many motorbikes and this many helicopters, and it just gives you a little overview of how they film the Tour de France. It's pretty interesting. But this Giro Next Gen shot. So the first video is an aerial video from Giro Next Gen that I just thought was just unbelievable. This is just one of those examples of like how good the aerial photography can be in these races. It just happened to be in the Giro Next Gen that I found this particular shot, but it's just like, look at all of and this is just a smattering of, and this is the reason why you should watch more of a race. You know what I mean? Because if you are only watching the last few kilometers or you're only watching the highlights, this is the stuff that you miss.
Yeah, and there's some stunning stuff here. You are not lying.
Right? This is 1 minute's worth of, 50 hours of photography.
Race coverage. Yeah, for sure. All right,
All
I
right.
love that.
And then the last one is this amazing aerial footage of the Puy de Dôme that I came across. That is just
Wait,
like,
that's not this.
that's the Tour de France, like
Oh,
how it's filmed.
right. Okay.
And then look at this. God, this video is just. This is from the ASO. Like, this is their official footage. But, you get this beautiful, mountaintop, aerial shot of the climb up the Puy de Dôme. It is just
Wow.
Just the colors, the undulations of it. I mean, it's just, look at that. God,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, as background noise, I mean, the most exciting stuff in bike races happens in the last, 10 minutes of the race. We don't need to sugarcoat it. Yeah, there's parts of the race that can be exciting that are before that, but generally speaking, the pointy end of the race is the last 10 minutes or so, and so having it on in the background is no big deal. Nobody's going to get mad at you if you don't want to listen to the commentary and all that kind of stuff. Put it on the background because you're going to be treated to absolutely stunning, gorgeous shots like that.
Absolutely.
So I'll play this last one. So I have to say this is one of my favorite things. Like when it comes to the wide world of cycling, and that is this like city downhilling. I don't know what the actual name of this particular discipline, and it's definitely downhill mountain biking, but there are certain cities around the world, especially like in Mexico and South America and stuff, that are in very, very hilly regions where the entire mountainside has been covered in basically like DIY buildings
Yeah, the
and
favelas.
infrastructure. Yeah, like it's like in the favelas and just various places where they were built a long time ago without a whole lot of restrictions, and so you end up with these very steep areas that have like staircases and just like downhill sidewalks and very little tight tight little spots and stuff like that. And these insane mofos from Red Bull and, you know, this generation are creating downhill courses out of these things. So these dudes are whipping down these hills like between buildings 2 feet away on either side, and it is nerve wracking and it's so spectacular to watch. And here's a terrific example. I mean,
Oh yeah, I've seen this video.
Totally nuts.
Oh my God.
Look how close that drone was to his back tire.
Dude, he's like going down steps like with you know, handrails.
You see that? He just like bunny hopped over the. I mean,
he's going
look, the
so
drone.
fast.
The drone can't even keep up with them. It's crazy. Like the damage you could do to yourself in a crash on one of these places is just nuts. Also, the way they build these courses is just the coolest thing in the world. It's fantastic.
Oh my Lord!
House, right through someone's house. What a course! That is so gnarly. Look, he's catching up with somebody who's on the course in front of him. Get out of the way. Unreal. So scary.
Oh my God, it gets so tight.
Can you just imagine though, if you had this skill level, I can't even conjure how fun this would be. Like how insanely fun this would be. What a neat course.
At half the speed, it would be fun. But good Lord.
Absolutely.
Over the street.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, Red Bull with all their money behind them, they can just like completely take over half of a hillside in a city for a day. Just look at this.
Oh my good Lord. This is definitely the most visual episode of this show that we've ever done. But
that's
like,
for damn sure.
You've got to go to YouTube to watch this one, man. You've got to. Oh my Lord.
It's absolutely stunning. I mean, I love everything about it. I love these little houses. I love the tight streets. I love the fact that it's just covered in graffiti and murals, and there's people hanging around out there. You see all the little like camera positions and stuff like that for the still cameras.
I am blown away by how fast he's going.
And also, like, I want to know the distance that he's covering here, because like, look at that. He goes into the tuck.
Oh my God.
Goes into the little mini tuck.
Like he needs to go faster. Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. That is absolutely insane.
That was well worth it.
And look, it looks like another video that pops up there was the
that's crazy.
Was the one that same shot, but it was titled, "Is this the world's best drone footage ever?" Wow.
Wow. That was awesome. I really enjoyed this.
All right, you want to go through your honorable mentions, and we'll.
That was the honorable mentions. So that's what we just did.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well then, yeah.
I guess we'll take a break and come back. Take a quick ride in the Broom Wagon.
In the Broom Drone.
In the Broom Drone. We'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back. We're going to take a quick ride in the Broom Wagon. Matt, go for it.
All right, here we go. So,
whoa, what is this?
This is the 2025 NCAA Cross Country Championships, and this video right here is like it's like a recap of the women's and men's races. But like, look how cool that is.
That is cool.
Like, I did not realize that, you know, collegiate level cross country races were on these giant courses. But it's really, really kind of cool. Like I had no idea. I mean, this
is completely new to me. I've never seen this.
You know, I mean, I'm aware of cross country racing.
Yeah, yeah, of course, high school.
You know, every high school's got a cross country team and stuff. Well, this is what it looks like at the collegiate level.
That's wild.
The whole start area is just like amazing. And this recap video is worth watching. These races were fairly exciting. The men's a little bit more exciting than the women's it ended up in a 2-up breakaway with the women here towards the end, and then this chick from, was it Alabama? No, from NC State. No, she's from Alabama. She ended up smoking the girl from BYU, and then you had the men's. There's just something that just looks so unbelievably cool about that.
Hell yeah. It's super cool.
So, so I'll throw a link in there. I'm always interested in other forms of racing. I know that I get into, track and field talk on the podcast from time to time. And it's just a really, really cool race. And it has a lot of analogs to the professional cycling, at least in terms of like an interesting terrain and, a pack of racers that get whittled down at the end. And it's, watching the end of the men's is pretty great. So I won't spoil that. I'll stop it before we get there. But go and follow the link in our show notes and check out the 2025 NCAA Cross Country Championships. What do you got?
So I'm going to start off with a quote. One of the things that's kind of been a topic of late in cycling has been the thought of charging fans for access to certain areas of racing. But as I was doing my news roundup that we'll get into in the other podcast, I came across this quote. Cycling is the only sport whose actors do not benefit from the spin-offs of TV rights, even though it is more popular than ever. The current model obviously asks sponsors to shoulder almost all of the risk and then hopes that they remain loyal. It asks mid-tier teams to fight for relevance in a calendar where, as Piva, who's the guy that made the quote, puts it, 4 or 5 big teams win most of the races. But my question is, would bigger budget teams like UAE and Red Bull and Visma expect more of the revenue share than this? All right, than, the smaller teams, even though their budgets are bigger. So, I think it's something that needs to kind of enter the conversation of, if cycling is at a height that it hasn't had as far as worldwide popularity, why aren't smaller teams benefiting from it? We've seen teams have to merge this year. We've seen, and I'm going to get into it in the other show, that we have riders that are without a contract right now because of these financial type problems. And, it seems to me like there has to be a way to get around this, that there has to be a way that they can figure this out to the benefit of all the teams in the pro peloton, but, without having to essentially take it from the fans. So, I just hope that these organizers and these race organizations can get it together and figure it out, and, so that these smaller teams don't have to struggle as much as they do against these big boys. Yeah,
it has been a topic of conversation on the show and will continue to be for a long time, I suspect. But I do like the idea that you've talked about, which is, siphoning off money from the bigger teams to enhance the budgets of the smaller teams and kind of even the playing field a little bit.
Yep. So
I certainly have no issue with that.
All right. And that is all for this week. Join us next week for our MVDP extravaganza, where we'll be discussing all things Mathieu van der Poel. We'll start with a recap of one of the absolute highlights of his career, the 2019 Amstel Gold Race, and then we'll broaden out with a discussion of his career as a whole, as well as our thoughts on his outlook for the 2026 season. Until then, for my brother Matt, I'm Justin Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride on the team bus. Allez.
The Team Bus is a production of Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Allez!